All right, Shalom Yasharala. Before we get started, we're going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash, and double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of the great millstone, and teaching rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Back another video, another lesson, and it's going to be a response to a video that I have. All right, the title is How Powerful is a Nuclear Explosion? And I got this video from got it from off TikTok, and it's like a couple of seconds long, but like 19 seconds long. But it shows a nuclear, like a simulation, played out on like a big city, and I want you to look at it because this is going to be a reality soon to come. So we'll take a look at it one more time. So as you saw, that city was completely decimated, and this is gonna be this is the future of America, which is Babylon the Great. All right, this is what's soon to come for this country. Let's start with this one. All right, and this is the Lord's plan. We're not saying this because we do hate America. We hate the ways of America. Don't get me wrong. America is a beautiful land. America is a beautiful place. Different. You can go to different states, and you'll see things you never saw before. But the people who rule this world, and this country, they make it terrible to live in. Nobody wants to come to America anymore, and this isn't the place to raise a family anymore. Back in the glory days, and like really when they had us in slavery. And I'm not saying that to be funny. That's a serious thing, when they had us in slavery, when they had blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans in slavery, or in a lower state, right? That was Esau's glory days, white America. You see, where they can hang, us, lynch us, that was their glory days. The 1900s, the 40s, the 50s, going into the 60s. That was the glory days of America. But around the 60s, something happened. Something flipped. The Lord put the spirit. He brought the spirit back of the awakening of who we truly are. And starting with it goes back to the commandment keepers. And then by the name of a man named Abba Bivens, who we believe is Elijah the prophet, John the Baptist back in the reincarnation when he came back. The Lord put the spirit on him to branch off, and he started teaching. He went to the New Testament and things of that nature, and the spirit came back. That's when he started teaching. That's when and that's when the spirit, around like the 60, 69, lit going into the 70s. That's when America started to fall. That was the start. That was the countdown of America's falling. You see, and now we're getting closer and closer to America's downfall. We're in 2026 now. All right. although our people are still in a lower state, we're still in a bad position. We see the way, we see the how America is draining, is going down the drain, right? So this is all the Lord's plan. All right, this is Isaiah 54 and 16. It says, "Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy." All right, let's look up some of these words, okay? Because the Lord put the spirit on, the Esau, the Edomites. If you watch the movie Oppenheimer, I gotta watch the movie again. Matter of fact, watch the movie Oppenheimer. All right, he's the one who created the atomic bomb. Okay, let's get his word. Let's get his word Smith. Well, let's not play that. He gonna get it wrong. But it says craftsman, artisan, engraver, graver, artificer. Okay, it says skillful to destroy warriors. So the Lord has created a skillful worker, a workman, to build this device, because this is the Lord's instrument. Let's get Jeremiah real quick. I think it's 50. All right, Jeremiah 50 and 25. The Lord, whose name is Yahweh, his son's name is Yahweh Shai, the Lord hath opened his armory and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord God of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. And what's the land of the Chaldeans? This is speaking of modern day America. All right, so this weapon, this nuclear missile that now is is more. Russia has one, Korea, China, America has plenty of them, and other countries they have a few. This is the modern weapon now that's going to be used. So this is the Lord's instrument. This is the Lord's like I said, the Lord opened his armory and brought forth his weapon, brought forth the weapons of his indignation. Indignation is anger. You see, so the Lord created the craftsman, the skillful worker to create this thing. You see, let's get Isaiah 34, and he's going to use it. This thing is going to be used. But if we get that, let's get Zephaniah. This is Zephaniah 1. We preach this. We preached about this. Week in and week out, day in and day out. This is Zephaniah 1 and 14. The great day of the Lord is near. It is near and hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord, the mighty man, shall cry there bitterly. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. So this is not when the Lord returns, when the Lord Yahweh Shai returns, there's not going to be no joyous. It is going to be it's going to be a joyous return for the elect, but for the rest of the people, it's going to be a dark day. All right, this is a day of wrath, man. A day of trouble, a day of desolation. It says gloominess. Let's look up gloominess. We should know what it means, but darkness, gloominess, calamity, wickedness. All right, misfortune. Okay, that's what it is. That's the calamity. There's gonna be a bunch of calamities going on. It says a day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers, and I'll bring distress upon men. People are gonna be in distress, men, woman, child. I was just watching the movie War of the Worlds. That's the same way, bro. This is gonna be the same. Well, it's not gonna be the same way, but because in the movies they show you these things in the movies, and we're just preaching about it, but we can't really give you we give you what we tell you about. It could be way worse than it is that we're telling you. People are really gonna be like in distress, like scared to death. Some people are really gonna have heart attacks. Some people are really gonna pass out when they see these things happening. When the Lord comes back in that giant fathership, you know, with the angels, and you see the missiles coming, people gonna be in distress, man. People gonna be in distress when all hell starts to break loose. Even before all that comes, before all that comes, when all hell breaks loose, when there's, civil war in the streets, race wars, people getting killed, looting, stealing, all that, people gonna be in distress then. But when those UFOs return, when those UFOs, when those chariots return, right, and the missiles start coming, people gonna be in great distress. So this is why it says, "I'll bring distress upon men; they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as dung." You see, because there's so much of a great calamity in that day, man. Let's get Isaiah 34 and 4. And this is the fate of Babylon. This is the fate of America. For what they've done to the Lord's people. You done spilled our blood, so the Lord's gonna spill your blood. It says, I'll start at 1. It says, "Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He had utterly destroyed them. He had delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll." That's talking about that, like you just saw in the video, right? Look at that, the scroll, that mushroom cloud. That's what it's speaking of. "And all their hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree." Now, Isaiah seen this, and John the Revelator seen this. "For my sword," what's the Lord's sword? "Shall be bathed in heaven." That sword is speaking of those missiles. "Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea." Who's Idumea? That's Esau, Edom. "And upon the people of my curse to judgment. The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Bozrah, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea." What's Bozrah? Bozrah was the capital city of Edom. And what's their capital city now? America. So Bozrah is spiritually America today. See that? Let's get 2 Peter 3 and 10. And it reads, it says, "But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night." Yeah. It's going to catch a lot of people off guard. And we don't want to be caught off guard. We want to keep our eyes open. Stay prayed up, stay in the spirit, to the best of our ability. "In the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up." So this is in the New Testament. This is Peter saying this. You see, the Lord showed them these things. The Lord showed them visions and dreams of what's to come in the future. Saying it's the same way today. The Lord is showing the true men of the prophets. He's showing the real prophets, the true prophets that's preaching and teaching his word. Giving you the correct message. He's showing them visions and dreams of things that's to come. Giving them the Holy Spirit, through prayer and fasting, to break these scriptures down to you, starting with our apostles and elders and bishops on down to the brotherhood. The Lord is doing these things, is pouring the Spirit out upon these great men that He's brought back. And they're telling you. I'm not saying they, because hopefully I am part of that, one of those men, but the Lord is showing you these things, but people don't want to hear it. They think it's a fairy tale. Let me jump to verse 7. It says, "But the heavens and the earth, which are now, by the same word are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. So fire is coming. Back then, during the time of Noah, in the days of Noah, there was water, there was a flood. But now in our time, there's going to come a flame of fire, because fire is a cleansing agent. It's going to cleanse, you know, America. You know, not all the world's going to be destroyed, but America's going to be a memorial. You see, America is no longer going to be it's going to be a desert land, like it says in Isaiah the 13th chapter. See, so I may change the title, but this is how powerful is a nuclear explosion. You know, but like I said, I may change the title to something different. But Lord willing, was edifying. We gonna give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and citation to those who elect. Those who use edified, and as we don't say, Shalom.